that you see on screen, they're all playing against each other constantly in H5, right? Duo matches, right? Going toe-to-toe against one another. And that's really where all of that, I guess, camaraderie for these squads formed on isolated sides for C9 and for Pioneers, right? They all formed this, like, camaraderie that has now led to the success of this lineup. But I will say, Streets, Walshy, is a good chance for Pioneers to catch C9 off guard.
Yeah, they look good on this. I also recall you saying when you saw Pioneers outside here, you heard them talking about something, and was their strategy against Cloud9 here?
Just play. What do you have to lose?
Just fly, right?
Just fly. What do you have to lose? And that's literally what Pioneers have to do against Cloud9. For C9, losing this game, yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world, but ideally they would not want to. And it kind of goes in the same boat for Pioneers, right? They have that cushion. We'll see, though, how you play around this info as we start with Strongholds on Streets. And Eco already obtaining the rockets, and you're already seeing Cloud9 push forward and get control of A and B.
Yep, he's got the rockets, he's got the thruster, he's going to secure that kill, and then just wisely go back and defend, looks like on B side. But I'm a little confused here. It does seem like Pioneers are putting some great pressure on A, and we're now seeing Eco actually go back to try to defend A, and at this point, Pioneers putting points on the board.
That was a very smart play. One player went out driveway, but the rest of them charged out Neon Street and then got control of it. Now, this is where Pioneers are going to try and take advantage and capture B, because they'll put C9 on the back foot, forcing them to have to make a play. That play was over at C.
And that aggressiveness coming out immediately, Golden Boy. It was so interesting because, like I said, from Eco side, I was like, oh, it's interesting. He's going to go back and he's going to counter cap C. Wait, no, he's now going back to defend A, and it almost felt like you saw that indecisiveness coming out of Eco, which is very rare.
Yeah, exactly. Keep Eco on your toes, and who knows, or on his toes rather, and who knows, right? Good things could potentially happen, but for Cloud9, that will be easier said than done because of players like Pznguin picking up a double kill to open up the map. Only one player left alive. It's Taulek being chased by Renegade. Got some support from Druk, though. Just look at the way that they all play around one another.
Yes, look at that, like you're saying, that twos teamwork. Eco realizing that he chased him near Commando, meaning Renegade chased that player near Commando. He was there to shoot a player towards top dumpster and just keeping that player weak or getting the finish.
And another thing of note is just the way that Cloud9, right, and Eco, he just gingerly walked up to the rockets and grabbed them. Any other match that you see, these rockets, everyone's like, well, when do we go? Oh, the nades are here. No, not for C9. They know that they have all the lanes cleared. They can go get the power weapons. And speaking of power weapons, actually, Eco used out the entirety of the rockets, has the Stalker now, and is, well, I think Cloud9, they're in full control of this match.
And I believe he got the rocket kill on Manny. The more impressive part to me was that Manny realized this is too good to be true. He's like, I'm not just jumping into C. Like, there's no way Cloud9 does not have this defended, and just started checking all the corners and found Eco down the corner with the rockets.
Eco looking for the target. Did find Taulek in front of him here. The Stalker's going to miss with the nade. Oh, never mind. The BR is going to be good enough there. And the trip cap could potentially continue as 3 players scratch out are going to be down yet again. And the help from C9 that they're receiving, you have to think if you're Pioneers, you're playing at a speed right now that very, very few can keep up with. In fact, the only ones that can are the 4 players in blue right now.
They are just absolutely dominating. What seemed like some indecisiveness earlier is clearly Cloud9 and Eco grabbing the reins of this match here on Pioneers. They just are doing everything right. They're reacting just perfectly now. Like we said, there was maybe a slight misstep early on, but it does not matter anymore.
Yeah, and another thing to keep your eye on was that whole cycle where they trip capped and got to like the 150 range. They were just cycling death. So players were called, oh my word! So they were cycling deaths. Players from Pioneers were respawning, and another like 1 or 2 would die. And then they'd respawn and another 2 would die. And at this point, Pioneers never had an opportunity to take a fight with their full 4.
Yep, once you have the advantage of capturing the strongholds, you can trade kills and still put points on the board.
Renegade making it look easy. He's got 2 players pinned down in Cafe with the Commando. That's going to be 1 pop. Maybe looking for a triple kill, and he gets it. Triple kill for the best player in the game. Renegade popping off in a trip cap for Cloud9. This is their world, and we're just living in it.
And look at how strong how good he knows the spawn system. Even though he didn't see anyone in PD yet, he still ran in there expecting a player to spawn. That's how good these players understand the spawn system.
And it has to be doubly frustrating for Pioneers because they had such a great start, but the game is over. Before it even started, Cloud9 just walk all over Pioneers in game one. The game mode that we said Pioneers needed to be able to show up on, that was not the case. Cloud9's like, oh, you guys need this game mode? Oh, that's so sad. Oh, you needed game one? Oh, no, what a shame. Dave, this seems scary.
This roster is just looking terrifying here on Saturday night. We're not even seeing them in Sunday form yet. One point we brought up earlier on the analyst desk when talking about Pioneers is it seems like this roster is fine to get a groove. It felt like, if the series goes longer, they're going to be fine. However, I'm not sure if that holds true against something like Cloud9. It seems like Cloud9's scary no matter what. You know, they have ice in their veins, as Renegade has said before, when they're playing in Game 5s. He's always credited his teammates that they're so icy.
That was a 5-minute game, Dave. That's icy. That's ice cold. That was a 5-minute game. It ended, and I legit was like, oh, crap, it's over? Like, that is how fast Cloud9 just took it to Pioneers. No one had an opportunity to apply any effective damage. I mean, Pznguin was like, hey, guys, I still want to play the game. You know, he was barely able to get 2K.
Can we run this a little bit longer so I can pad my stats a bit? It's not going to look good on the stats when...
Put it at 300, you know? Let's change the settings, HCS. But, oh, man. And Eco, I think... you made a great observation earlier about how Pioneers started and their attempt to kind of bamboozle Eco, but then it was like as if just something changed.
Yeah, and maybe it's just like a better execution from Pioneers early on where it's like, all right, Eco played that same way the entire game. It just felt like the very first rotation just didn't work out.
Yeah, and then after that, they said, oh, well, we know what we got to do here. So that was 250-33. Pioneers, unfortunately for them, just could not find any success on Streets besides that opening engagement. Now we go over to StelluR on Aquarius, and what should people at home be looking out for here, Dave, as Cloud9 prepares and Pioneers prepare for this game?
Well, there's a few different weapons and utilities they can grab across the map. Obviously, thrusters, camo, the Magnum, and the dynamo grenades. So we're going to see who's going to prioritize what utility to grab on the map, but for the most part, it's going to be a lot of flying and collapsing from these players. You know, they're going to get their numbers advantage and likely fly and try to continue to stagger the other team's spawns.
Yeah, it will be very difficult for Pioneers to try and prevent that speed from Cloud9. And sometimes, you know, based on what we saw in that Fnatic game, the best answer could be the same strategy, right? Just be delusionally confident and push them in every single fight you possibly can, and it might work out. But, you know, Pioneers, I think they might be licking their wounds after that game one because that was a shellacking.
Well, the nice part here going into a StelluR is that the Pioneers really can play at their own pace. Yes, Cloud9 can force some action. They can be very aggressive while they're staggering spawns. But for the most part, they don't have this impending doom of like Strongholds where just time is ticking against them and they have to forcefully run over to a Stronghold and try to stop the bleeding. At this point, they can say, all right, like slow down a little bit. We can hide in this corner if we need to regather, get our spawns all together, and push out. So we're going to really see a more true test of how Pioneers play here in the StelluR game.
Getting ready for the action, and we thank you all so much for joining us. It's been an incredible day of HCS games here in Anaheim, California. We've still got so much more to come as well, because after this, it's going to be a great matchup. Optic Gaming versus Sentinels to close out the show. I couldn't even tell you who will walk away with the dub on that one. Not even going to try, because I won't be on any segment after that. It's kicking me out. But boy, oh boy. For Cloud9, though, if that game was quick, maybe they're looking to end this one.
This one's going to go longer.
You think this is
going to go longer than 5 minutes.
I would really like to commentate at least a little bit more, Dave, you know? Be great. All right, well, here we go. On board with Manny, the young blood from Pioneers. These players have been so impressive, but just the way that they're able, Cloud9, to just like juke around when they know that they're in a bad position, but yet they still find success despite the problems that they may initially face. They're able to get themselves out of it. It's so impressive.
And they're just so slippery. All these players, look at how Druk just perfectly maneuvered around towards bottom car. The fact that he was just able to thrust around that corner, not take any more damage from the two players from Cloud9 over in the red courtyard. It was just marvelous.
Marvelous indeed. A split spawn as well. One player is going to be tucked away in the back of the base, and Druk knows that and is looking for it. They have to be really concerned about any players that are going to be popping up on the flank. But still, though, they have managed to be able to get this lead, 7-5, and there's that player, right? He knew it. He's like, I knew that someone was back there, but now he has no choice. He has to take this fight ahead. Big win there! Druk with the double. I'll take it, man. That was a great play.
Yeah, I mean, you walk into a utility room with Renegade and StelluR, it's usually going to be, you're dead, they're both alive. Instead, somehow Druk single-handedly turns that into a 2v1.
Yeah, I think that for what it's worth, I do believe that Druk is like like a rising star in competitive Halo. Like every time I see him on screen, he's just incredible. Like literally putting in the work, and he's a grinder, man, and that's exactly what you want. And well, Pioneers are actually grinding away at this scoreboard here. They still hold on to that 2-kill lead, and honestly, that play from Druk, that double, that's the difference there. Being able to pull off a kill like that, who knows what could have happened if he didn't get it.
I mean, at this point, it feels like you need that sort of level of play to take down a squad like Cloud9. You need somebody that's going to pop off, that's going to not only win their 1v1s, but also in a time when they are down, they are going to win those battles that are against them.
And one thing to note as well has been a lot of C9 players have kind of been caught isolated from everyone else. And this is going to be another camo picked up for Pioneers. Let's see if they can put this to good use. Shots are going to go out. Taulek, he's made the call. He knows where the two players are going to be located. Around the corner, finds one. Gets stuck, though. That's unfortunate.
That is just so frustrating when you're in someone like Taulek's position where you do everything right. You take the shots at the right time. You cut off Renegade. You catch him off guard down there. And he just has the foresight to throw a grenade and realize that's his best chance to get a kill and get a trade.
Despite that, though, big win there. Actually, Druk had the help from SoulSnipe, 23-15. Pioneers starting to rip away with the lead here, but they can't get comfortable quite yet because in a blink of an eye, Cloud9 can pull off 2 kills in a heartbeat, which is exactly what we just saw. But they're up by 6 still. And this is where they're going to have to really continue to shut out C9 and don't let them get comfortable.
But they're playing at their own pace this time. It does feel like I said that at the beginning where you saw Druk in a situation like that before. He may have charged over towards top pink to try to finish off a kill or try to force some action if he had that need for an objective to do it, but instead just backed up towards the base, wait till his teammates spawn, and then they can all push out and do something together. And we're seeing how powerful Pioneers are when they're together. Yeah,
they're rolling deep, man. Every single time you see a player of C9 dead, that C9 player is usually isolated, and around that C9 player is 2 bodies, 2 players from Pioneers. So it's very clear that they're hand-holding whenever they come off spawn, go into their teammates, backing each other up, and that's why they still hold on to their 6-kill lead.
Another thing, too, is it doesn't feel like Pioneers are making just these obvious moves across the map. You'll see how many times Cloud9 are like, when you saw StelluR there a moment ago, checking towards bomb util, checking towards top util, just like taking all this extra time, checking all these corners where no Pioneers members are to be found.
Camo is going to be available. SoulSnipe's been having one hell of a game as well as Druk. I mean, that's not taking anything away from Taulek and Manny, but this has been a great showing. And yet another camo has been picked up for Pioneers. So they have had the power item control, and they've benefited from it greatly. Sometimes it's been better than others. This is certainly going to be one of those times where they got a decent amount out of that camouflage.
One thing I've just seen continuing throughout this entire series and throughout this entire tournament is how well these players just use the thrust to be aggressive and go for those melees. They realize when they can use the utility to thrust forward, they can time that melee and generally get a melee hit and not even a trade. They time that with their couple shots of the BR, go straight in for that, and it's generally unexpected. Even on a map on Aquarius where thrusts are very abundant across the map.
Yeah. As soon as I saw Thruster was available on this, I thought that is going to be a very vital piece of equipment. And, you know, it certainly has been, right? The equipment in Halo Infinite has been the talk of a lot of players' perspective of the game, right? Like Grapple Shot, how impactful that's been. Heck, even the Drop Shield, we've been seeing it used quite a bit because you get that little added, that protection from, you know, like another BR shot or even soaking up an entire rocket. It's all possible with these, with the Drop Shield. The equipment's been amazing to watch, and also amazing is this 9-kill lead that Pioneers have been able to accrue, and it shows no signs of slowing down here. Heat wave in front of Pznguin, he gets it.
And look at this movement once again from SoulSnipe and the Pioneer squad. SoulSnipe just taking his time, getting on this flank, and then these members of Cloud9, as they're trying to make some action happen over towards top car, he's just shooting on the side and then also catches Pznguin off guard. It just feels like very rarely we see Cloud9 caught off guard like this, and Pioneers are just doing this continuously throughout this game.
They only need 7 more kills, and StelluR got hit with the Sizzle 6 in the corner. Camo's going to be available again. Manny, what a great heads-up play from him. He's in a fight with someone, but he's still worried about the power item and causing a distraction just to keep that player occupied.
Yeah, that selflessness to lay some shots across the map, but also the trust in your teammates that they're going to be able to turn that advantage into something. That shows he has a lot of trust in his teammates, saying, if I get one shot into someone across the map and they get in a one-on-one, my teammate's going to win that fight now.
First time that Cloud9 was able to attain the camouflage. They weren't able to do all that much with it besides just bring the lead within 6. It was previously 8 or 9. But look at the hand-holding, man. They're working together, and C9 starting to do the same thing here, but could it be too little too late as the 49th kill is about to be registered? Pznguin's weak down low. SoulSnipe's going to be on the target, though. Actually did find, it seems like Pznguin just managed to get away from him completely, but
Pznguin
I think
slipped away somewhere, but yeah, it's kind of too little too late. I mean, especially when you start to see the Sizzle 6 in hand, and there it is, 50th kill going to SoulSnipe on Renegade. That's going to be a 1-1 series, Golden Boy.
Awesome stuff from Pioneers, showing that they, like, even though game 1 was a bit of a slobber knocker, it was all right because they picked themselves up and were able to get that Aquarius Slayer, and it just speaks volumes about this Pioneers team because they got manhandled in game 1, and any other squad would have been down on their luck, but not this team. They know that they're playing with house money, and they're going to keep it going.
Truly impressive. I mean, as you stated before, it's like Cloud9, they are the team to beat, the #1 squad. Generally, if the #1 squad comes out and they are just dominating away, it's like, all right, this series is over. Let's, this one's going to be a quick 3-0.
Yeah.
But
like
I'm
with a 250 to 33 score.
Super impressed here from Pioneers. Another thought that you brought up earlier off stream, which I'll give you a little credit to, was it was a really interesting thought. You said, I think the first team to beat Cloud9 is going to be one of these younger squads with all these young guns versus, like, a Sentinels or Optic.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that further?
Well, because, I was talking a lot with Tony, and I mean, the guy is just a cornucopia of knowledge when it comes to especially, like, Halo and the H5 and Pro Series era because he'd been involved in it so much in the trenches with a lot of these guys, and he knows the capabilities of these players. And I just feel like, it's this group that kind of came up in the twos, the duos, right? How they play and trust one another, that kind of format, and you saw it play out there in the Slayer game. And if Pioneers can keep that going, hey, right, who knows what would be possible. They know that gun skill wise they can match up against C9. It's just that the way C9 play around their advantages because of the trust and experience that this team has at a 4v4 level. But give Pioneers and Fnatic a little bit more time, and I genuinely believe that they'll be taking even more games off of teams like C9, Optic, right? Like all these squads.
Yeah, I mean, based on that analysis, we saw earlier today, like you said, with Fnatic taking 2 games off of Cloud9 on the Bravo stream. Taking a look at our series layout, though, 1-1, and we are going into game 3 here in just a moment.
Yeah, looking forward to jumping into the action as soon as it pops off. And, I love that Pioneers have had this, this success story, the Cinderella run. They had it in Raleigh, but even more so here because of the win against E-United and just the way that they've been kind of carrying themselves. This is a team that's here to stay, man.
It's special, yeah, because there's so many times throughout Halo's history where we just see these players all get kind of picked up on different top squads and all get to shine and be top players, but for the first time, while these players are getting really the most limelight, is they're doing it together. They didn't all get their opportunities through these other top squads. They've made their own opportunity. As Bravo said before, you cannot ignore them. They just got so good that you just can't ignore them. They're too good.
Yeah.
And they also have so much trust in each other now too, as you said, Golden Boy, through all these 2v2s they've been playing, all those practices. They know what their teammates are capable of, and they said, all right, well, if we find the top individually talented players, we feel like we can make a squad here, and that can be a top squad.
And sometimes, right, in theory, that would work out, but also personalities matter a lot as well. And part of the Pioneers' charm is that they genuinely all get along with one another. They hang out with one another like they are friends. Like that is a very important part of team camaraderie to, you know, really feel like you're in a family environment. It's one of the reasons why Cloud9 had done so well when they were spliced back in H5. Those 4 guys were inseparable. You would see them all over the place. When Shotzi was a part of the team, it was very clear that these 4 kids, like they were like best friends. That's how it felt like. And I think that is just a really, really cool thing to see. And it's even cooler as well because if you look on this stage, and not to disparage the legends and the veterans in the space, but, you know, they're all very young. All 8 players are incredibly young. And yes, some have a little bit more experience than others, obviously, but these are all fresh faces in competitive Halo that weren't playing in H2, that weren't playing in H3. So it's just cool.
Why are you looking at me so wide-eyed there during that one, making those statements?
Because you old, Dave. Because you old. But it's just great, man. And now we're jumping into our next game. It's going to be Bazaar, and I think that Jersey had said that they simply need to survive the first 3 games. So if you're Gaskin, you are like your butt cheeks are so tight right now, and they're usually already tight, but now they're even tighter. You know, chat's probably like, what? Keck W? Well, here we go. Game 3, 1-1 is the series. Pioneers managed to walk away with the Aquarius StelluR game, but now we're jumping into some CTF on Bazaar. Everyone's favorite game mode.
So much damage off the bat, though, from SoulSnipe. Not afraid to push out that bridge, take a fight over at the tree, take a fight over at the BR, and eventually take over his own locker. So doing a great job taking up ground for his team, but that's just a small glimpse of the story because clearly in the center of the map, this is all C9 control at the moment. That is 2 down from Pioneers. 3rd player about to go down to the double doors, and this is going to be a flagpole momentarily.
Oh, and I love the double back for the Dynamo grenades because that is...
He also has the sound cue right there.
It's the sound cue. You're going to know when someone's overextending, so they got the cue and they know that they could focus on it. But look at that. All 3 members... You have 3 members of Pioneers inside of the Cloud9 base despite them getting fragged out in their base. That just goes to show you how absurd Bazaar can be sometimes.
That is amazing how 3 members of Pioneers all flanked over through the alley towards the Cloud9 base, have full shield. They clearly have their worst case scenario kind of figured out from the Pioneer side. They say, all right, if we start to lose a ton of control here on Bazaar, just everyone for themselves, quick flank out. Don't worry about center control. Don't throw away a death. Instead, we will gather at their base. Here's the X on the map. Meet here on their base.
Meet here.
Meet here at this time.
Bring sandwiches.
Bring both your grenades. You can grab spike grenades. You can grab the mauler. You can grab whatever you want.
Whatever you do, don't tell Steve, all right? Don't tell Steve. But yeah, and also there was just so much that was happening there and that I would love to be able to cover and break down, but I'm sure someone else is going to make a video about it because right now there's a flag that is on the move. Taulek's going to be in the back of the Cloud9 base just causing havoc all over the place. He's got targets in his sight. You also have the overshield up in a moment here, and here comes the flagpole. Where are the members of C9? They're dead. They're going to look to overextend here because they have no other choice.
Now look at the difference here, Golden Boy. The last time when Pioneer's flag was ran across the map, all the Pioneers members decide to take alley, avoid the center of the map, and regather the Cloud9 base. Now when Cloud9 are trying to stop the flag run, they were in the center of the map getting picked across. So that's where a couple deaths came into play. We're kind of seeing which strategy might be better.
Yeah, this has been really cool to watch, and that's kind of what you have to do on Bazaar. You don't really have a choice in the matter because of the way that the spawns work once you pull the flag. As soon as that flag's out, everyone spawns in the alley, and then they overextend. That's just the bread and butter of this map. So you have to go through multiple rounds of slays, and you have to encounter those players on the OE in order to prevent them from being able to gain movement on your flag, which is what Cloud9 realized against them, and now they're up 1-0.
Yeah, I do think I'm a believer in this KCP strategy. It makes sense now that I think about it more in depth instead of going back to your base, fighting at a height disadvantage, or going to the center of the map where the players all want to see you there. Avoid the fight, gather together, and then fight together.
Yeah, it's just something I never thought I would have seen there. Clean fight, though, and a win for Pznguin, but he is going to get cleaned up by Taulek. And Taulek has been having a pretty great run thus far in games 2 and 3. Game 1, we'll go ahead and sweep that one under the rug. But games 2 and 3 have been beautifully done from this squad, and I think he ended up getting the rocket SoulSnipe there. and I think that Clutch had mentioned before, like when you see SoulSnipe with a power weapon, he's going to put that thing to use. And the pressure that they were applying to Cloud9, giving them no room to breathe, has been expert from Pioneers.
Yeah, but a bit unideal as we now have a rocket in the hands of Eco. This is for sure going to get Cloud9 at least out of their base, if not a bit more control in the center of the map. Yeah,
and with Overshield about to be up in a moment here, that rocket player has a target and actually is able to nail the shot because even though the splash damage from the rockets can sometimes not be your best friend, it did work out there for Eco. Overshield is going to be up. SoulSnipe's able to get a double. Pznguin with the stop against Druk, but there's SoulSnipe with another kill there, and I believe they ended up getting the Overshield out of that.
Yep, that's all 4 down for Cloud9. Cloud9 just spun right now. We're going to see how SoulSnipe and the Pioneers squad decide to push it towards this flag because they're not going to get the BR or the palm tree for free. Cloud9 has enough time to push back and forth, and I love those maneuvers when people jump off and use the grapple to get back or use the thrust to get back.
Oh, that was actually a sick play from SoulSnipe because he jumps back. He had another grapple shot. He knew that nade was going to come, but the explosion radius wasn't going to be enough to hit him, so that he can go back into the fight with the Mauler. That guy's one shot. He'll go ahead and tag him easily. It's just all the little details that these players have been putting together have been so incredible to watch.
Also, what's impressive too is this restraint from Taulek.
Yeah.
Taulek barely had a full burst into him, but realized that he could not get in that engagement over near Truck without did not have help. So instead of just fighting a one-on-one, maybe going for a trade, he decides to back down and fight another day.
Sees the Bulldog has been brought into the party here. Who wouldn't like to have the dog barking for you? Now Cloud9 is going to start to make their push here. How's Pioneers going to respond? 2 players going to be located inside of BR. One's going to be located inside of Palm. And wise play there from Eco, just disengaging because he didn't have the help. But look at that. Pioneers have been able to stop 3 members of Cloud9, and the last one left alive. It's going to be Eco to try and just continue to cause problems in the back of the base, but Taulek shuts that down immediately.
That was just so impressive. I mean, you saw how Cloud9 was kind of backing up. You saw Eco being like, all right, I don't need to start this fight. My teammates are going to play it safe, play it alive, or stay alive. And instead, just the fight was brought directly to them by Pioneers. So just really impressed by all states of this from the Pioneers. When they have control, they're doing a great job pressing the advantage. When they're on the back foot, they're doing a good job regathering together and making a push together.
Well, that kill could be big because now that the rockets are going to be available and Renegade has OS, this is going to be map positioning. Maybe they grab the green gun. Yeah, I see Manny back in the corner there. And no chance to use the green gun against the Overshield. Hate to see it, kids. But this is going to be base control for Cloud9 inside of the base and in their face.
I like this. Renegade, look at this alley. See if we get the exact same strategy again. Look at all those players, just running all the way through. All 3 are just meeting the Cloud9 base again. It's that strategy. They go all the way through the alley. They get the Cloud9 base. They're not going to force any grabs or any fights. Instead, they're going to gather together and start a brand new fight. And Cloud9 doing a great reaction to it, though, Golden Boy. This time, they're slowing the run through. They got caught off guard at their own base last time, and look how slow they're taking this run.
Yeah, they're waiting because now the spawns are kind of going to be a little wonky here. Flag is down, but grapple hook. Hey, there it is. And now the flag's going to be inside of BR. Cloud9 could tie this one up here. SoulSnipe's going to be in a bit of a pickle in the corner. Is going to get cleaned up by Pznguin. One more inside of the palm tree, but with the flag in hand, it's going to get tied up 1-1. But that was great adjustments from Cloud9, and that's why they're a World Championship class team.
Yeah, to be honest, I am amazed by how Cloud9 made that adjustment.
Yeah.
Like, you think most teams just chalk it up, be like, oh yeah, I don't know how they got that lucky stop. Like, just run it back this time. They truly completely counteracted that strategy. They stopped running the flag. They stopped it, dropped it in the middle. They took their time getting back, and no members of Cloud9 were running in 1-by-1 and just dying.
That is why we hold Cloud9 in such high regard. They realized that there was an error in their strategy the first time around. They adjusted, and they thrived. But now it's up to Pioneers to figure out how to really bounce back from that, because that seemed to have been the thing that was working out for them, and this time around it got shut down. Defense inside of the back of the base here. You got 2 players, one located at the palm tree, and I believe one at BR as well. You probably want to have a body there. Here comes the push. Yet again, Renegade able to get the kill. The sauce is out, though. Player pushes out. Taulek still managing to stay alive on this one. Druk with a big win if he can get it, but the player has Overshield and the flagpole's about to begin.
Also, how amazing of a teammate is Renegade that even though they have, you know, some of the best comms, I'm sure, in the world, he's still just pinging spots. He's like, he's right here, right in this spot of the flag.
Yeah, and it's just a good visual cue as well, right? It helps out. And Pznguin does get through the palm trees. He's going to dump that flag down and slide right to it. Oh, don't you love when you see the flag slide and the kills? The kills are beautiful for Cloud9. They got everything that they want and then some, because with that flag cap, they'll go up 2-1. And everything is clicking for C9 here. Pioneers now need to figure out how to stop this because they seem to be moving in their base with no problem.
I was just going to say, one of the only downsides to this Pioneers regathering strategy when they're going over to the Cloud9 flag is that they need to dictate when they're going to go back and fight for center control. Because what we've just been seeing here this whole time is Cloud9 has the ability to fly across the center. They can grab the grapple whenever they want. They get the dino nades. They've been having more access to the overshields. And it's really tough to say, like, all right, yeah, we play defense here for a second from the Pioneer side. When do we play offense? When do we go in the center of the map?
Yeah, and right now they don't really have that answer because they've been fighting inside of their base ever since that first cap from C9. Not only were they able to get the capture, but furthermore, they were able to leave a body there to continue to apply pressure to Pioneers and never let them feel comfortable enough to push out of their base.
I love this position here from StelluR. Overshield is coming up soon, and instead, he's just going to play it calm and cool over at the palm, while his teammate over in the center of the map can grab this. And look at this awareness from Cloud9. They know the alleys are coming through. They said, we fell for it once at the beginning of the game, not again. We are on top of your strategy. We're going to pin you down in the alley and in the Bulldog.
Yeah, it's like fool me once, shame on me, but... Or fool me once, shame on you. You know what I mean.
I just straight up go shame on you, Golden Boy. That's all I say.
You know, I really do make it easy for you. I realize
you do.
that.
I appreciate that.
And it's because I care about you, buddy. But Cloud9 cares about being able to maybe bring this flag right back to their base here. There's still going to be one player left alive. Druk's going to go and make the hero play. Renegade's got full health. Druk's running away, just trying to stay up as fast as he can, but StelluR's there to meet him instead. Even though with that flag being out, that's the furthest it's going to get. And that is 3-1 Cloud9. They have dominated Bazaar CTF.
Yeah, and I don't really see how Cloud9 loses this. Their intention or goal right now should be stay in the center of the map, just get slays, and run out the clock. So, and I feel like that is exactly what we're seeing right now. We see 2 members down from Pioneers, just StelluR down from Cloud9, and we're going to see about another 45 seconds of playing here from the boys in blue.
I believe that for their Bazaar record, they're sitting at around like 3-1 or 4-1 or something like that in live play, which, you know, I mean, it's Cloud9, so they're going to have winning percentages no matter what. But the reality of the situation is you really cannot prepare for C9 because of those types of adjustments that they make so quickly without, like, you wouldn't even really think about it. Like, you'd start to see the plan forming for a lot of teams, but for Cloud9, it almost felt instantaneous. Like, they knew exactly what they needed to do to prevent that situation from happening ever again.
Yeah, and that was just such a amazing pivot and change in strategy. Like I said, we have the God view here and with our amazing observers here, and right there we can barely piece together, like, oh wow, this is the strategy that KCP did, and
yeah.
Cloud9 just like, all right, this is what they did. Here's our adjustment.
Yeah.
Next, what's next?
Go ahead and break it. It also helps too when you have Hoaxer there behind and helping out with the call. So you got a lot of great minds on the field all at once, and Cloud9 are going to go up 2-1 against the Pioneers. But, if you recall the conversations from the analyst test, they were saying, and Scherzi and Gaskin were saying, that if Pioneers were able to survive the first 3 games, there's a chance here. I do wonder if that comes to fruition, because that maybe is sitting in the back of the Pioneers' mind, like, hey, we are still very much in this series, even though we lost this. Hey, our BRs are hot, the comms are good, we're making these plays happen, we just got to close it out.
Yeah, and every single game, they've had their moments, they've had their chances. Clearly, game 2, they won. So I still wouldn't count someone like Pioneers out. I mean, that was a very difficult game, number 3 to watch there on Bazaar, as we saw Cloud9 get 3 caps back-to-back.
Yeah, it started to get a little out of hand.
Yep, started to get out of hand. You know, they were clearly in control, middle to end. However,
I still am incredibly impressed here with Pioneers. They're just still playing so well. Yeah. They're winning certain fights. They're pushing across the map, and so I don't know. I would love to see what other tricks they have up their sleeves.
Yeah, me too, man. And hopefully we're going to get that as the game starts off. There you can see the stats. No shocker for C9. Everyone pulling their weight in that game. Once things started working out for them, they did not look back. This was really this start though. It felt like C9 almost were attempting to try and like download Pioneers and figure out what would be the best way live as the game was going on. And then immediately after that, this flag cap was basically the beginning of the end, because then it just kept happening over and over and over again, multiple times, getting 4 down, clear opportunities, capped in. That's it.
Yeah, and as I was looking at that clock, Cloud9 put their first flag in with 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. So the first entire half of the game, it was KC Pioneers in the lead. But then those last, those following 3 to 4 minutes, that's where Cloud9 gets 3 captures.
Yeah.
And that's so tough to do on Bazaar.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this Oddball live fire game. A little bit more of the, you don't have the sight lines, cross map from the OS side to the B side, but you still have a bit more of an open layout here than you would on some of these other maps, right? And what does Pioneers look to do? We saw them on this map actually in their E-United game, and it just felt like it was a pure suffocation that Pioneers were able to do against E-United. I wonder if that is going to be the plan of attack here. Easier said than done against C9.
Yeah, like you said, easier said than done. This is a situation where live fire Oddball, it can be one of those more chaotic slayers, but same thing with the first map we saw, when we saw Street Stronghold. That could be one of the more chaotic objective games as well. So I don't know if that really benefits KCP here, given this track record that we've seen these past objective games. It feels like Cloud9, they can play the fast game. Feels like Cloud9, if they get caught off guard, they can adjust and pivot their game style to react. And so based on what we've seen, 2 objectives have been won for Cloud9 thus far. I could see them just winning all 3 objectives in the series and closing out 3-1.
Yeah, potentially so. As we get ready for the game to start here. Hopefully everyone's been entertained by the matchup. Does Pioneers have a chance? Sound off in the chat right now. Let us know. What do you think? Does Pioneers have a chance here in Game 4? Take us to Game 5? I'd like a Game 5. That'd be fun. My first Game 5 of the weekend.
I would love that. Yeah, I want that too. But.
Yeah, right? I mean, I did a Game 5 with Tony over at Bravo, but I like to have a Game 5 with you, Dave.
Let's get it. All right, I'm with you on this one.
Yeah. First time we fist bumped all weekend. It was great. So, I'm just looking forward to it, man. Genuinely, because they Pioneers play with an attitude that is very necessary against Cloud9, and it's the same attitude that Cloud9 carries themselves with here as well. The opening start, Pioneers down low, forcing Pznguin out of a tough spot here. Like the adjustment too with the aim, just going for the flathead shot around the corner, anticipating someone was going to come through there.
Yeah, forget who I was talking to in the talent room earlier, where they're saying all the pros have been talking about horizontal versus vertical here on LAN with the heat wave.
Yeah.
And people have been, I guess, a strong believer in the horizontal mode here so far this LAN. So I wonder what the situational difference is there for those players, because it did seem like what we saw from Pznguin was he used horizontal when he was going for that bank shot.
Yeah, and I also saw that there was, because usually, you go for the vertical so you could drain the shields, but I do think if you get 2 or 3 of those shots on vertical mode, it is enough for the kill.
Yeah, 2 shots with vertical mode, and I think
2 pellets, I should say.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, yeah, 2 full bursts with it, you're gonna kill somebody with it. I would say also the main thing with the vertical heat wave is that it just kind of matches up more with the body. Like, for example, a full horizontal heat wave is not gonna hit somebody at a even mid-range distance, and so that's why people go for that vertical one for that more compact burst. Now, horizontal, I could see being beneficial to bank shot as you're just trying to get random hits to keep a shield down or to get a finish.
Yeah, I remember when the game first came out and I was using the heat wave and it was a horizontal, and the whole time I was like, man, am I a Pepega? I cannot hit this shot at all.
and then I adjusted it and I started going vertical. I was like, I still can't hit the shot at all.
I can't hit the shot at all. Well, as of right now, Cloud9 have been able to get the ball back in their possession inside of the garage. Here comes a push on the B side. Renegade's running around the map willy-nilly, lined up the shot, but did not find the target here, and try as he might. That actually was a really good play with the repulsor, but Druk did have the better of him there. Ball has been deposited to the outside, as SoulSnipe and company have managed to win that outright, and they'll continue on with their lead. And Manny gets camo.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of the dangers of holding the ball over towards the A garage is you have to get the slays. There's really no plan B. You can, at some points, maybe try to rotate over towards B or C if you have enough map control, but as soon as players start falling, you can't get to play ball.
Manny got to go big here. I think Eco threw a nade, just a precautionary nade, as one would do when you come around there, but thankfully for Manny, he managed to avoid that one. Ball has been deposited outside again. A smart play from Pioneers. That's like a soft play ball to bring that ball outside and really put it in a position that would be difficult for Cloud9 to freely grab it. And more points being added to the scoreboard here in favor of KCP. Another player in front of him, a nice double kill, killing spree for the young man, Manny.
That is going to, however, be somehow 3 down for Pioneers. I believe that was all 4 down for just a microsecond. So this is going to be Cloud9 control. We're going to see how much time they can put up on the boards. They grab this ball over in the garage, and he's going to sit in this window. So, like I said before, you cannot play ball here, so I wonder if Pznguin's going to be trying to rotate this out into a more open spot if his teammates start dying, or if they're just going to kind of sit put and try just to fight over and over at the garage.
It looks like they're debating if they want to go for the tower push, which makes sense. If you get the kill at tower, you want to bring that over there because that is an actual play ball.
Here's more of a position where they can push to B, and it looks like that rotation is coming through. And so I do like this play from Cloud9. Pioneers have shown that they have such lane prowess that you can't expect just to outslay them over and over again. So put the ball in a safer spot in case the slays don't go in your way.
2 shots left in the sniper rifle for Renegade there, but Eco's got his boys back, takes out SoulSnipe. Taulek top mid. There goes the ball. Opportunity to play it as well. Very close game between these two teams. Going for the hero snipes. Doesn't work out in his favor, though, and no other choice.
Well, he just had, reactions take over there. Clearly, he had no ammo left on the sniper, so he would have ideally just stayed on the map, but, just after so many good habits built in, like, all right, I need to jump this weapon off the map, get away from them. I'm like, wait a second, this has no ammo in it this time.
It's empty. Oh, what a waste. Oh, back whack for SoulSnipe, looking for another. He knows that they're here, too, because he saw them with the beauty of the camo. He's just trying to identify. Got the Renegade call, too, and that
also, that Renegade grenade, we saw him do that over at the B side where he just throws it off the ceiling. And the grenades kind of have this out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality where, like, if you see a grenade kind of fly past your FOV, you can't do a good job predicting where it's going to land. And Renegade doing a good job taking advantage of that.
A few kills, though, for Pioneers. Pznguin and company trying to continue to push. A double kill. And the ball has been played because no one has been able to obtain it or grab it. But 2 players for Pioneers were waiting for them, and they also got the tower side. Is it going to be enough, though, for them to be able to grab that ball and bring it over to tower and end this round? It is such a close game here on Oddball Live Fire.
Yeah, both these squads aren't going to try to force grab that ball because slays have gone back and forth so much, and if you've gone over how much time has elapsed, we've had more than half the time elapsed in this ball round, and one team has only gotten to 53 points. So it's going to really come down to who gets the slays, who gets a bigger full control.
And another double kill for Pznguin. Will get cleaned up, but thankfully for him, Eco does obtain possession of the ball, continuing to add on to this total.
I like that route too, looking like he was going to go through key door all the way towards garage. That's going to force at least one member of KC Pioneers to push over towards A garage, when in fact, Eco says, I can just run this over to C.
The help was there. I was about to comment, like, I'm a little worried that they might not have the help to try and clean this one up, but it is going to be there for Cloud9. The ball located all the way in the back canal. And this is just going to continue to add on. Even though they have been able to get these camos, it haven't really been able to do much with them. So Cloud9's okay to give that up, especially if you take out the player as soon as it's popped.
Yeah, as long as you're keeping overall control, it's not the end of the world if you don't get a camo, but ultimately they're still trying to keep their eyes on that. I would say Cloud9 is more in a position that they're saying, we're not going to just throw away a worthless life over this camo or try to force rotate over towards a camo that we don't feel like we can obtain.
Oh, great jump there from StelluR. He's able to get that. Oh, never mind. It's Renegade who gets the kill, but even then, that was all prompted because of a great play from him there. A trade on the melee for Manny. Pznguin on cleanup duty. Ball's down low again. They only need 12 points before Cloud9 can win the first round in this Oddball live fire game. For Pioneers, they have a long road to go if they're able to get that ball, but it's not impossible. They just don't have a lot of time to work with, and Cloud9 are going to use that to their advantage.
Yep, we're going to see Cloud9 just baiting this ball out, instead just going to go for these slays, and anytime that Pioneers grab the ball, Cloud9 can be a bit more aggressive. Try to go for any slays while they're down in numbers.
Pznguin met the ball player right at the dummies ramp, and that basically is going to be the round. I mean, unless something incredible happens or lightning strikes the building, nope, that is going to do it.
Are you trying to jinx us here or something like that?
Not at all. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Knocking on my head as well. Knock on wood. But Cloud9, they get round 1 in live fire Oddball. One step closer to a 3-1 victory for Pioneers. They have a long road ahead of them. Not impossible, but it's going to be difficult.
For those at home trying to know how to play live fire starts from the garage side, take note from Pznguin there. If you're trying to push towards garage side, you should have that slide down to avoid those predictive grenades. Otherwise, you're walking into grenades most of the time from someone pushing from pillars.
Yeah, the curb slide, like those like insane slides that we've been seeing these players effortlessly make have been a marvel to watch. Taulek, he's getting pressured from all different angles, and unfortunately is not going to be able to get. Oh my word, Renegade! You need to stop the shenanigans right now. Gets himself all the goodies to play around with, a heat wave, a sniper. I mean, part of me was like, do you want to just give that up to your teammates? But I don't know. Renegade can do whatever the hell he wants, just like that, people.
One thing I also found interesting is that Renegade did not take the shortcut route. And I think the shortcut route is a very obvious or immediate route that many camo players take. So I really like how he decided to back up, just back his teammates up over in the yard, or over near the A garage, I should say.
For C9, they're always thinking about ways that they could assist one another in real difficult situations. Pioneers have to force, at this point, C9 to just drop the ball. But so much work is being, or was done, I should say, by Renegade to just slow down that push. And with Pznguin outside, just adding some more damage to this, SoulSnipe will have to make a big play there. Unfortunately, he's going to go down, but not before taking out Eco. But since that ball is going to go back and it has been played, the job has been done for Cloud9. They're all right with this. They can get back to grabbing that ball and adding to their score.
Yeah, Eco realized he did not have any teammates immediately nearby, and so he played it safe and decided just to drop the ball off the map and help go for slays. He realized that he at least has one member from KC Pioneers over towards the B Stronghold, so he's just going to, like I said, take those numbers advantage, take a one-on-one. If he wins it, great. He can go push to the center of the map and help. If he doesn't, he doesn't have to worry about the other team getting a ball set up.
Call was made that perhaps he's going to want to bring that ball over to tower. You saw that the intention was to go inside of garage, but very clearly they want to bring this over to the tower side because they could just play the ball again and continue to just add insult to injury for Pioneers. It's kind of like a death by 1,000 cuts, it feels like, the way that they're playing this.
Liked Renegade's just awareness, realizing something didn't feel right, so he checked garage again. He just realized some of these players might be flanking around and about, and once he knows that his back is clear, his team can play significantly different. Yeah. They know garage is clear, so they have to be in other spots of the map. So it's always learning where players are at through deduction.
I love this play because most players will just charge right at the ball. It's right in front of you, right? Why wouldn't you? But Renegade decides, I'm just going to go all the way back around, clear the tower side, just make sure that we have control of this area, and then if we want to go back to it, we can.
That's a very good point. Not only is it just, you know, clearing out a spot, but in any of those cases, Renegade is anticipating their player's going to be there. And with someone like Renegade, he is confident he can win those 1v1s. So he's, one, potentially securing a kill, but two, securing a whole part of the map for his team to be safe. And
somebody threads
the needle right there through the shortcut directly into Druk's brain.
He wants another one. He wants another one. He's feeling the bloodlust from the sniper, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him there. SoulSnipe would be the end of that one, but Renegade still gets his man, weirdly enough, because unfortunately he got naded. Hey, happens to the best of us.
And this has just been a very difficult spot for Pioneers. It feels like anytime they flank, Cloud9 just are still scrapping up time and rotating the ball away. Anytime they don't flank, they don't have additional angles to attack from Cloud9. And it's just been kind of this back and forth that feels like no matter what they do, they're wrong. And what a sticky grenade from StelluR with the camo, but eventually taken down. So 1 for 1, not a bad play.
Wild repulsor there from Pznguin. I love it. Seems like Renegade's going to keep this going. Oh, I wish it would have happened. Would have lost my mind. He gets the shot anyway, though. Not today.
SoulSnipe tries to back down and still just gets hunted down anyways. When Renegade is on fire, he is literally unstoppable. This man is a beast.
Just going to go and echo what Clutch said yesterday. The 4 best players in the game are in blue right now. That's it. There's no other, until proven otherwise, that's it. But the best player undoubtedly has to be Renegade. This guy he literally can do it all. They're going to continue to add on to this 93. Are they going to shut out Pioneers here and ruin the good times, the good vibes of KCP? Seems like that is exactly going to be the case, and Cloud9 will march forward in this competition with a clean shutout in the second round of live fire. Oddball, Pioneers will be taking a trip to the elimination bracket, but they shouldn't hold their head low because they played C9 hard. They had nothing to lose, and they showed everyone that they are a threat in this competition, and you have to take them seriously or else you're going to be packing your bags here in Anaheim.
Yeah, I am fearful for any of the squads playing the KC Pioneers in the elimination bracket. They look scary strong. Maybe they'll score lines, and some of those moments didn't show it during this match, but they are such a strong roster.
Yeah, let's not forget, this is the same team that 3-0'd Sentinels. So, and they 3-0'd Sentinels, and it looked like it was a mollywop. So, you know, like Cloud9 is just built different right now. Everything's working for them. They have all the confidence in the world, as they should, because they're looking for, what is this going to be, the 5th? Title?
I mean, it depends on, yeah, if you're just counting the LAN tiles, you're counting all the different online qualifiers they've won, but I would say this is their 5th LAN title, right? I believe they won the last 3, or it was the last 3 or last 4 events of Halo 5.
Hopefully the desk can cover us there, but